Okay, so this is the first of your few video clips that I will be making to review some of the questions in chapter 12 on unemployment. Okay, the focus of this set of videos basically is the first CSQ, CSQ1, parts A and B, as well as section 3B, question 1A. Okay, there will be 3 video clips in this set of audio tutorials. And the first part, which is this clip here, we will focus on trying to glean information from the extracts in CSQ1. Okay. At this stage, I haven't read the questions yet, but I don't really want to care. All I want to do is to get as much information as I can out of the CSQ extracts. Okay. So let's look at extract 1. Now, if you look at extract 1, one of the first sort of interesting statistic that you can use or you can find is the jobless rate. Okay, it is at 4.7%, and apparently it is the highest in 15 years. So this is a piece of information that you can use if you are writing your answers and you wish to quote the jobless rate or the unemployment rate. Okay. Now, the next thing that is quite interesting is that it says that the number of unemployed workers above 40 years old with lower educational qualifications, these people are finding it hard to get back to the labor market due to a skills mismatch, okay, resulting in a very high unemployment rate. Now, what you should realize is that terms like skills mismatch actually signals structural unemployment. Okay, so what we have here in Singapore, based on this extract, first of all, is structural unemployment. Okay, then the next thing, it also says that there is a rising trend of service workers joining the ranks of the unemployed, and this is due to the sector's consolidation. Now, what's the key word here is the consolidation. Now, there are 2 ways that you can interpret this. You can consolidate when the demand in that sector falls, in which case that would be cyclical unemployment, or you can also consolidate because you realize that there are a lot of workers whose skills are obsolete or are no longer wanted in that particular industry. So we can't really say this is structural or cyclical unemployment, but it could be both. Okay. Now, the next paragraph actually focuses on the effects of having unemployment. So what happens is that if there is unemployment, there will be lower demand for properties and buildings, which means that there will be lower long-term gross fixed capital formation, or GFCF. Essentially, what you need to know is that GFCF is just your investment component in AD. Okay? So in this case, what we are seeing is that because of the unemployment, there is a decrease in investment component of AD. Okay. So what is the effect of the decrease in the investment component of AD? Very simple. There will be a 1% slowdown in the long-term growth rate of Singapore's economy. Now, then you have to ask yourself, how does investments affect the long-term sustainable growth rate? Now, you should be familiar by now that if investments decrease, AD will fall. And the simple reason is because I is a component in AD. But how does I affect the long-term sustainable growth rate? Now, the long-term sustainable growth rate actually impacts the LRAS, or the vertical part of your AS curve. Okay, you need to remember that when we are talking about investments, we are investing in either capital goods or we are investing in research and development to come up with better technology and improve the quality of our factors of production. Okay, so let me just say that again. Investment would affect the quantity and or the quality of our factors of production, and because of that, it would affect the vertical part of the AS curve in the long run. Okay, so this is what are the main information we can get from extract 1. Let me just summarize again. When you see terms like skills mismatch, it tells us that there is structural unemployment in the economy. When you see that there is some kind of consolidation in the industry, it depends on why they consolidate. It could be structural or cyclical. And the effects of unemployment is a fall in your investment component in AD, which of course reduces AD, but at the same time, it reduces the LRAS because it affects the quantity and quality of the FOPs in the economy. Okay, so this is the first extract. Then we move on to the second extract, which is a series of graphs. So for the first graph, what it shows essentially is how much each year's unemployment is due to structural unemployment and how much each year's unemployment is due to cyclical unemployment. Okay, what are some of the interesting things you can glean from this graph? What caught my eye is that basically there are a certain number of years where all the unemployment is attributed to cyclical unemployment. Okay, but perhaps the more interesting thing is that in the more recent years, from 1998 onwards, what we see is that there is a clear increase in the level of total unemployment in Singapore's economy. And not just that, much of this increase in total unemployment is actually due to structural unemployment, which is this purple part of the graph. Okay, you can see that it was actually quite low from 1996 to 1999, but from 2001 onwards, it starts to increase very quickly. Okay, now for the second graph, it shows the unemployment by education level, and what you see is that most of the increase in unemployment is from the lower educated workforce, which is the black, purple, and yellow parts of this diagram. It corresponds to the workforce that has primary education, lower secondary education, and secondary education. Right? So it has a significant increase in these three segments of the workforce. Now, if you think about it, it actually matches up to the structural unemployment story, because these lower educated workers, they may find it difficult to switch jobs because they lack the skills. Okay, and perhaps it's also more difficult for them to learn new skills later on during their work life. So as a result, if there is structural unemployment, these are the people that will be affected first. Okay. Now, the third graph is the unemployment by age group. And as you can see, the same thing happens. There is a significant increase in unemployment amongst the sort of middle or old age workers from, say, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and from 50 years onwards. Okay, so same thing. We believe that these people, it is more difficult for them to pick up new skills, and therefore when there is structural unemployment, these are the people, the older workers, they are most heavily affected. Okay. Now we move on to extract 3. Extract 3 basically talks about the different programs that has been introduced to help the unemployed workers. Okay. Basically, the key thing here in the first paragraph is this item known as skills upgrading projects or skills upgrading programs. Okay, and you should know by now, skills upgrading is a solution for structural unemployment. Okay, recall that structural unemployment, the main reason for that is that there is a skills mismatch between what the workers have and what the industry demands. So you upgrade the skills of the workers in order to provide them with the skills that is required in the economy. Okay. Now at the same time, in the third paragraph, it also talks about economic downturn. Now economic downturn is a sign of cyclical unemployment, or should I say demand deficient unemployment. This is a result of your AD shifting to the left your national income falling and the unemployment that results from there. Okay, so that is cyclical unemployment. Okay, it also says that the Ministry of Manpower has jobs that are unfilled because of mismatches of expectations between employers and job seekers. Again, this is an example of structural unemployment. For the rest of the extract, you see various terms such as traineeship or mentorship arrangements or any other programs that would help upgrade the skills of the workers. Now, all these terms or all these programs are all linked to structural unemployment because it involves some kind of training and giving unemployed workers more skill. Okay, so this is all the 3 extracts in CSQ1. The next part of the video clips would be covering the review of CSQ1 parts A and B. So hopefully you will have that done by the time you watch the video clips. Thank you very much.